Trouble is brewing in Atlantis.
Just outside the fabled city of Atlantis, an Atlantean guard makes a startling discovery. The sacred trident! It's gone!
You had one job. In the Royal Council chamber, we have a rabble-rouser.
I tell you, Lord Vashti had some nefarious scheme in play. I cannot believe our Grand Vizier would shirk his duty. Prince Namor returns today from his inspection of the realm. We shall let our monarch be the judge. Your monarch has returned. What problem requires my judgment that Lord Vashti could not deal with?
Little did they know he had been listening for several minutes to find out what these guys do all day when he's not there. Sort of an undercover boss thing with pointy ears.
Sire, it is about Lord Vashti. Why is he not here? Speak. I command you. Is he ill? Worse, sire. He has betrayed your trust and forsaken Atlantis. Impossible. What proof have you of his desertion of duty?
Best I can tell, the fact that he's not here is this guy's proof. It doesn't occur to him that Vashti might have had an accident somewhere, or been kidnapped, or otherwise met with something bad. He's gone, he must be a shirker.
Sire, the sacred trident of Neptune, it has been stolen. It cannot be. Only myself and Lord Vashti may presume to touch the trident. There is your proof, sire!
The fact that he and Vashti are the only ones authorized to touch it doesn't mean somebody else won't touch it if they want to bad enough. This guy has an agenda about Vashti, and Namor wants to find out what it is, and what happened to Vashti and the trident. He orders a massive search for both. He and Dormal will start in Vashti's home.
My prince! Look! What a beautiful stone!
A white amethyst. But these are only to be found in the forbidden caverns, many leagues away.
Could it be a sign? A key to his disappearance?
Yes, or it might also be a trap. But I must take that risk and go to the dreaded caverns, for if Vashti is in danger, only I can save him.
Dormal will stay here to be his eyes and ears while he's away. He'll do what has to be done, but Namor really doesn't like this.
A growing suspicion of impending disaster fills his heart. A suspicion that is well-founded, for in his lair the barbarian plunderer Atuma watches Namor's departure with fiendish exaltation.
Exaltation means giving high praise to a deity, monarch, or similar upper-level figure. By extension, it can mean a kind of euphoria, and I assume that's how we're using it here. Now, exaltation basically means something like this. It means celebrating a big victory, and I'm reasonably sure that's what Atuma is doing. He's not getting high on the idea. But whatever he's doing, he's sure Namor won't be coming back from all the perils that inhabit the caverns.
The waters darken, as if with some malevolent peril. The carnivorous sea forest. 'Twould be folly to chance this menace.
One of the really nice things about the world beneath the waves is you can move around in 3 dimensions, which means he should be able to go over the carnivorous forest and keep out of reach.
Too late, the gallant prince realizes the danger. And as the lethal vines entwine him in their deadly embrace...
If he thinks of that in time, which he didn't.
Not far away in the forbidden caverns, the luckless Vashti faces the fearsome man-monster.
The man-monster guards a hole called the Pit of Perdition, a seemingly bottomless hole that he likes to throw people into. Once again, everybody down here is able to swim around in all 3 dimensions, but when the plot calls for it, gravity works here just like it does on the surface, and if you're thrown into a pit, you fall down no matter how good a swimmer you are. Just go with it.
Keep firing! They must surrender soon, or their city will fall about them in ruins!
What kind of shell does that artillery shoot? For that matter, what kinds of rounds do any of those things use? We know what happens when you shoot a projectile weapon in the water. Pretty much nothing. The water stops the projectile rather quickly. If we watch the scenes closely, we'll see that the shells are never actually shown hitting anything of significance. They just make some holes in the ground, and that's why all the shells and whatever is coming out of those rifles travel a few feet, stop, and drift down to the bottom. Atuma isn't about to let himself be embarrassed by letting us watch.
And within the doomed city, the council desperately flounders without its leader. We must retreat! Evacuate the city ere our people be slaughtered! We cannot permit such thoughts. We can only do what our monarch would have us do. Defend Atlantis to the end. Aye!
The best way we can do that is by sitting around this chamber playing all for one and one for all. That'll fix him.
The giant man-eating clam. Caught between two deadly menaces, how can Prince Namor hope to escape his oncoming fate?
I've said many times that we don't know a whole lot about what's down there in the depths, but as far as we know, a clam is a clam, and if they do happen to move around, one, they don't have eyes, so they're just squirming like mad, usually to evade a predator, and two, I don't care what it's called, I'm looking at the biggest clam chowder I'm ever likely to see. The fact that it's still on the hoof is a minor detail. Give me a couple of minutes with it and then let's eat. Back at Atlantis, our resident doom and gloom crier has convinced the council to surrender and let Atuma have Atlantis.
Though I am strangled by these treacherous tendrils and easy prey for this monstrous man-eating clam, yet will I resist to my dying breath. The creature's jaws open to engulf me! Once again do I prove myself the strongest being beneath the sea, and everything that lives within this realm. Atlantis may well be in danger without a leader, but if Vashti lives, I shall find him.
It's been a long time since I watched these. In fact, the last time I did, I hadn't even started studying languages and linguistics. Now, with a few decades of learning behind me, I can say with confidence that Atlantean is the most verbose language on the planet. If Dorma asks Namor, "Are you hungry?" not only does he have to give the most detailed version of yes you'll ever hear, but the language requires him to spend another 10 minutes explaining how and why he's hungry. Atuma has taken Atlantis, is sitting on the throne with the trident, and he's acting like a stereotyped dictator. Dorma knows what she has to do.
Better to risk my life than to forsake my prince. I must find him.
Who goes there?
If I am discovered, all is lost.
Speed, or answer to my blast gun!
I must try to distract him. It is my only chance.
The ruse works, and within minutes the Lady Dorma is on her way to find her prince.
The guard should get a medal for the way he showed that rock who's boss.
I must head for the jungle like sea growths. For though the way be longer, they will conceal me. Yet I must not falter, for only my prince can save Atlantis now. I am caught in the quagmire of doom!
Caverns of Doom, Pit of Perdition, Quagmire of Doom. This place needs a water slide theme park. It's way too gloomy. The man monster is asleep, so Vashti is going to try and slip out of the cave.
Only inches from my goal. The pit.
Vashti, hang on!
Or you could start kicking your feet and swim out, but that's for sissies. Manly men hang on and wait for Namor to beat up the monster and rescue them.
Strong you may be, but you are no match for the Lord of the Seven Seas. I have you.
Like that. Atuma either underestimated Namor or overestimated the monster. Either way, his reign over Atlantis might last an entire day if Namor is slow enough getting back. Vashti fills Namor in on Atuma's plot. They're off to stop him, but a bunch of fish are blocking their way.
Begone! Begone, I say. Nothing dares bar the way of the mighty Submariner. I sense they are trying to communicate with me.
We must not delay, noble monarch. Atlantis is in dire peril.
Wait. I am receiving a message from my citizens of the sea. They tell me my Lady Dorma is trapped in the quagmire of doom.
Aquaman can send out messages and command the fish, and this one time Namor can receive messages from them. Those two need to put their heads together. Namor orders Vashti back to the city to lead the people in defending against Atuma. Neither of them knows it's too late for that.
I cannot last much longer.
Dorma, I shall save you.
Oh, my prince, do not risk your life for mine.
Without you, my life is nothing. Do not struggle. My strength will not fail you. Oh, my lady, you are safe.
No one is safe, my prince, for Atuma has taken Atlantis and even now sits upon your throne.
My city fallen into the hands of Atuma, and it follows that I have also sent Lord Vashti to his death.
But before I go to save him, I must stand in one spot and explain to you every little detail regarding how I did so. It is the nature of our language.
Only the accursed Submariner could have rescued you from the man-monster. Where is he? I command you to answer.
I refuse to answer the usurper of Prince Namor's throne.
If there's one thing Atuma can't stand, it's anybody who stands up to him in any way. He sentences Vashti to the iron idol of infamy.
This will surely loosen Vashti's tongue.
Atuma's soldiers.
What object is that they bring to our city?
'Tis the iron idol of infamy. A torture weapon that could only be devised by a mind as cruel as Atuma's.
It's an Iron Maiden, a medieval torture device that never existed. As far as I could tell, writers in the 19th century invented it to emphasize how barbaric the Middle Ages were, and especially how brutal the Inquisition was. As I often say, if you have to lie to support your position sucks. Get a better one. Try something like this.
Oh, who goes there? 'Tis I, Prince Namor the First of Atlantis.
After him!
He is vanished before our very eyes.
Yeah, weird, huh? Almost like he was leading you to something. Or away from something.
By refusing to tell me where the Submariner cowers, you have signed your own death warrant. My only regret is that the hated Namor is not here to join you in this final tryst.
I think I understand why the Atlanteans and the surface dwellers have such a hard time negotiating peace treaties. The surface folks keep falling asleep when it's the Atlanteans' turn to talk.
I shall join Lord Vashti, but in rightful vengeance.
Ah! My hour of triumph is complete!
You're sure about that? Holding that big stick doesn't mean you're qualified to hit something with it. Told you.
Atuma is being defeated.
Let us flee ere the Atlanteans rise against us.
Remember how mean you talked to him as you were bringing him here? He does.
You shall not escape the wrath of the Submariner.
Enough! Mercy!
I shall be as merciful as you were treacherous.
They always beg for mercy, but they're not real big on giving it. After his trial, Namor will leave Atuma's fate to Lord Vashti to decide, since Atuma wronged him the most.
Before you are banished to the black wastelands forever, this iron bell shall be soldered about thy neck, and ye shall pass through the streets, so that all may see thy symbol of treachery.
Soldered to his neck? Ouch! Namor thinks Vashti was too lenient, but Vashti understands the tyrant bully mind better than Namor does.
Perhaps, but to creatures like Atuma, shameful defeat is worse than death.
Exactly. If you just kill him, he will become a martyr to somebody. Humiliate him, show everyone what he really is, put his shame on display for everyone to see, and his power is broken. He won't be back. He knows he can't intimidate anybody now. Eventually, he accepted his fate, picked up a stick, and became Christopher Walken's cowbell player.
Stronger than a whale, he can swim anywhere.
He can breathe underwater and go flying through the air. The noble Submariner, Prince of the Deep, will be hurting every demon.
Lord Namor of Atlantis is the Prince of the Deep.
Council chamber, keep out of reach. Reach?